good evening, and welcome to the first stream of Spooktober, because we're going to play some spooky Halloween-esque themed games during the month of October to celebrate the upcoming Halloween festivities. So today on the menu I've got Vampire the Masquerade, Coteries of New York. I have never played a game as Vampire the Masquerade. I've heard things about it, and the whole premise and the idea behind Vampire the Masquerade is that we as vampires live with the humans in big cities, and we are trying to hold up the masquerade because we don't want humans to know we actually exist. So that is probably what the story is about. By the way, if the volume of the game is too loud, please let me know in the chat. But I think it should be okay right now. So let's get right into it. We're going to start a new game. As you can see, I haven't tried this game yet. I haven't even looked at it, so I have absolutely no idea what it's going to be. So we can choose our clan. You have Bruce, the rebel against the power and rage against authorities, a seemingly insignificant man with significant ideas to join their ranks tonight. We can play Ventru, the aristocratic blue bloods embodies wealth, sovereignty, and control. A top-level corporate execute will join their ranks tonight. Or we can play Territorial, the divas seek thrills of art, romance, and cruelty amidst the stagnant and death. The tormented artists will join their ranks tonight. Ooh. So we either are the rebel, we are the aristocrat, or a diva, a compassionate person. I think let's go for the rebel. I feel like that's a nice thing to do. Like, be a bit different than others. Maybe we can get away with stuff that others wouldn't get away with, since we are the rebel. We do stuff that is a little bit different than others. Alright, let's choose our name. Well, Dranina, of course. Let's accept and let's get into it. Let's see how things are going to go. New York told me to believe in fate. Had you asked me about fate back when I was human, I would have told you it's just a superstitious bullshit. That we're all designed for our own destinies. That belief shattered when the richest woman in the United States, the actual richest one, not a face you could have seen in the papers, of course, sank her teeth deep into my neck. It happened in the very same place you're standing right now, by the way. Fate? You decide. Please, there's absolutely no need to be hostile, just listening a little longer. See, my mistake was that I flew too close to the sun. It makes sense that my punishment was to never see its glow again. I was incandescent myself. I was hot shit, I had it all: money, looks, confidence, connections, men, women, a career, and a spark in my eye, the one you need to be born with. And that's when someone far more powerful than me saw my radiance and thought, that won't do. She robbed me of all the light erupting from within and gave me a subtle, enduring gleam in its place. She decided it would fit me much better. She was a 9th generation kindred just like you, an apex predator. She probably enjoyed teaching me the peak of human excellence, my real place in the food chain. It's such an eyesore when you look at some loudmouth braggarts and see them all for what they really are. The temptation is to teach them a lesson that can be unbearable, right? Well, my science lesson was a lesson about fate. A message saying, you're internally doomed to be at the mercy of your sovereigns. It almost drove me to destroy myself. What saved me was the ability to reinterpret their teachings. This wasn't a message of doom, it was a message of hope. Fate exists, and one can shape it if given the right tools. Asai didn't believe my tools were fitted for the job. She considered them toys, and me, just an amusing subject. Well, she's deader than dead now, and I'm still here, standing right where she stood when we first met. You might have wondered how I've learned about your arrival to the JFK airport. My answer is, of course, destiny. As luck would have it, today happened to be a day of some of my associates were inspecting the coffins. Driving you here straight from the plane and having you wake up in such an unfamiliar place was a little desperate, and I do apologize for it. But it's so rare for you to visit New York, 3 times in the last 15 years was it, and you've never eager to inform me that you're here. I understand you still have that meeting on the 3rd Street late tonight, so I'll provide a comfortable transport. I value our relationship very much, don't get me wrong, but it's precisely because I value it that I am going to ask you to repay the favor you owe me. You're the only one I trust to do the job well, and without attracting attention. You might think I'm crazy asking you to breach the rules of our society like this. You might think it's impossible to get away with it unpunished. But this is New York, and I don't know about other cities, but in this one, fate really exists. And right now, it's smiling in your favor. And this is how it begins. Welcome, Bam, to the stream. And yes, screaming is an appropriate way to greet people here in this Spooktober stream. Alright, so we are awoken by mysterious men in New York. Music is pounding and your pulse is keeping pace. This is one of those nights that make you feel alive even though it started when you're feeling dead. First came the messy breakup, then the realization that you have nobody to talk about how much it sucked. Still, you decided to roll with the punches. One Facebook search for local events later and you found just the thing for your malaise. A short subway ride and you find yourself at a club just outside Dumbo. Not a fancy one, mind you, more like a slightly refurbished warehouse. But hey, at least the drinks are cheap. DJ seems to be really know his shit too, alternating between cutting-edge industrial techno and classic Detroit crowd pleasers, expertly filling out everyone's mood. An hour passes, then two. Usually you feel awkward coming to a place like this alone, but tonight you find something soothing in joining the crowd, blending in, even as you allow the beat to take over. Sweat, yours, other people's, soak through your shirt and pants in a matter of minutes. And thought pops into your head, from the outside, the fully packed club must seem like a stuffy, smelly nightmare. But here, in the thick of it, it becomes exhilarating. And you're not even on the pill tonight. And this is Latina chick whose curves are accentuated by the light, dress clinging to her body, and she keeps bumping into you. Something tells you that only seems incidental. Yeah, it's a good night, you wish it could last forever, but you know all too well what the next day holds. Waking up, getting dressed for work, the commute, the 9-to-5 grind that will make you just enough money to pay the rent and keep living in your overpriced shithole of an apartment. And with Jessica moving out, it will all be coming out of your pocket. You run some quick calculation in your head and you immediately come to regret what you did. Never mind, you spot Latina again. She's now next to another guy, hitting it off. Your chances of not going to bed alone gone. Just like that. Your mood temporarily shuts down, you leave the dance floor and stumble your way to the filthy bathroom. Take a look in the mirror and start washing your face, obsessively, over and over again. A voice of the past echoes your mind. Oh, it's Jessica. I've never felt like this with anyone. Seriously, I mean it. I feel like a lot of my relations up to this point were test runs, a shitty way to compensate for my low self-esteem. But this feels right. Finally. Shut up, Jess. This is the craziest fucking day of my life. God, I need a smoke. Pass me a light. What do you mean? Cops took a lighter. There's one in your mouth. Just shut the hell up. This is not you. Not anymore. Oh, fuck off. This is so you, acting like some sort of Clint Eastwood wannabe when I really, really need you to be open. You think you're impressing people with the stuff, that guy? Fuck you. I know how broken you really are. You need therapy. Yeah, now that sounds like Jessica of today. You raise your head and look in the mirror. You try to smile, but all you can muster is a self-pitying grin. And there she is, the Latina from before. Says you look like you need a drink. You hesitate for a second or two, and then blurt out a surprising enthusiastic, yeah. You start to talk. It quickly becomes evident that she's into politics and you're eager to please. You might be a corrupted drone, but you spent a lot of evenings reading theory, actual theory, not bastardized cliff notes, and organizing for all men and causes online. The status quo sucks, but there must be something better, she agrees. You seem to subscribe to the same progressive political theories and have compatible ideas about the DSA missteps. Even watch the same YouTube channels. Your goals are aligned. She's a bit more radical than you'd have guessed. You attended a few rallies, been to a few protests, but this girl sounds like she broke her shares of face and kicked more than a couple of cops in the nuts for over the course of her activist career. Her zeal's infectious. She taps into the pent-up anger that you didn't know you had. The noisy club stops working for you both and you hit the streets. Just as you're leaving, the DJ starts playing All the Things She Said by Tatu. Of course, you chuckle to yourself, trying not to slip into a bad headspace. She chuckles along with you. It's chilly outside, but soon enough you find yourself too invested in listening to the girl's voice to care about anything else. You realize you've been holding heads for a while. The subway car is empty, save for a stoic middle-aged couple and a drunk staring intensely at its own feet. Plenty of room to stretch out, and yet she sits right next to you. You can feel her tide pressing into yours, her breath on the side of your neck. Maybe it's the booze talking, but you distinctly hear your voice asking if she'd like to crash at your place. I've got better ideas, she says. At this point, you're down for anything, as long as it lets you spend just a few more minutes with her. Takes you to a sleazy motel in the Bronx, trading a few words with the balding, tight-looking guy at the front desk. He hands her a key. Still holding your hand, the woman leads you up to the stairs. The room you end up with is almost comically stereotypical, complete with flaking paint and sticky flooring. Not that it matters though. The moment you step through the door, she's onto you. You're trying to take the lead, but she's having none of it. Before you know, you feel the wicked breath pressing against your back. It's floppy, fun, fierce, and not once does she lose the initiative. Your hands reach under her t-shirt. Strange, it didn't look like she was cold outside, but now her skin feels eerily cold. As if she senses your confusion, she slaps your hand off her. She kisses your neck, and you're overwhelmed by the sensation. Darkness! Sounds like fun. Definitely sounds like fun. Yeah, I know, Bam. It seems kind of weird that text just pushes to the bottom, but it's okay. I'm fine with it. Alright, let's continue. The taste of liquid fire and smoke on your tongue. A voice saying, sorry kid, I did what I had to do to leave the city in one piece. But don't you worry, my blood and your principles, you're gonna do just fine. She slams the motel door behind her as she leaves. You lay helpless on a soiled, pungent mattress for some time. Minutes, hours. Before you can focus enough to try and piece together your evening, it hits you. The big hunger. It grips you by the throat and makes your insides shiver in terror. It's an all-encompassing emptiness that throws you on all fours. You growl for a while, scream on the floor in sudden pain, and you jump to your feet and bust out of the door. You black out. Of course. I think, guys, we just have been turned into a vampire. This isn't the room you saw when you last closed your eyes. Somebody cursed at you, a small, naked, buff dude holding a short leather whip. Whoa, what a goofy motherfucker. He throws a punch, he yells out several slurs, he hits you in the jaw, you black out again. That's a nice summary of the evening, I guess. The guy isn't moving anymore. There's blood on his neck, there's blood on his arms, there's blood on the floor, and there's blood everywhere. Wow, whoever did this is one sick puppy. You realize you're sitting on top of his corpse. You hear a whimper. Someone else is there. A woman. Her arms are tied in the bed frame. An eye mask over her face, red marks on her back. This time you see it happen. You want to stop, but can't. You almost manage to get a scream out, but it dies in her throat as you bite into the side of her neck. You drink. Blood. You're drinking blood. You could swear you feel her life force escaping her body, entering yours. Feeling terrified, you tear away from her. She's not moving, but she's breathing. There's barely a mark on her neck. The guy on the floor, though. You double over in a spasm, realizing what you did. You feel like throwing up, but you can only gag. Panic sets in, another realization dawns on you. Your heart is not beating. You put 2 fingers on your wrist but feel no pulse. Same thing on your neck. Nothing. There's no breathing come out of your mouth. You have to get out, get someone to call an ambulance. For yourself at least. Probably too late for the dude on the floor. Did you really kill him? What a mess. Oh, a stranger. Nice. You look up, the door to the room is ajar. A tall, handsome, broad-shouldered man fills the entire frame. He brushes an imaginary speck of dirt off his perfectly tailored suit. Alright, our first choice. We finally made it towards the part where it actually becomes fun. Not extensive reading anymore, maybe. But we can decide our path and whatever it's going to be. Are we going to call 911 out of the way? And this is not what it looks like. We probably should ask him to call 911. Shouldn't we? Oh, well, a vampire though. So would it be... Like, if the guy is a vampire, which I might suspect, then saying call 911 is the stupidest thing you can do because you want to expose yourself. Out of the way. Let's go for this is not what it looks like, even though it's probably the stupidest choice of all. I think it might be the best choice. Hey man, this is not what it looks like. That's good to hear, because from where I'm standing it looks like you're in a world of trouble. He observes the room, not moving an inch from where he's standing. He shakes his head in mock concern. Murder, assault, that's 25 to life, and you feel lucky. But since you're not, this is a death sentence. He takes a glance at his expensive-looking watch. Lucky for you, it's been a slow night. Otherwise, I might not have gotten here in time. Come on, the sun comes up in a few hours. You don't want to be around here when it does. The sun? What's the matter when the sun comes up? Ah, so you don't even know. You should be glad I got here before you made yourself scarce. The man approaches you and starts talking. His tone remains unnaturally calm. Oddly enough, you find it both soothing and slightly unnerving. Now, listen to me. I know this is all new to you, but I've dealt with hundreds of strays like you, and going by experience, they tend to fall into two categories. First, there are the smart ones who carefully obey my every word and don't try to pull off anything stupid. I always get them whenever they need to be safe and sound. And then there are the dumb ones. The banks who thought they could take me on, the wise guy who tries to contact somebody secretly without permission, the troublemaker who tries to run off or make a scene. None of them got their destination in one piece. In fact, most of them will never reach their destination at all. His voice becomes slightly bored and monotone. You can tell he's given his speech before, like dozens of times. So you see, well, I generally consider myself pretty smart. I'm also a Mets fan. It's one of my true weaknesses. One that inspired me to come up with 3-strike system when dealing with pups like you. If you get on my nerves once or twice, well, I understand. Not all of us perform well in stressful situations. But cross me 3 times and you're out. No excuses, no forgiveness, no mercy. And as he's talking, he slowly approaches you, adding a bit of theatrical swagger to his walk. Eventually, he leans in, deliberately invading your personal space. You realize it's a test. He's daring you to do something about it. 3 strikes and you're out. I'll understand now, sir. Now. You've never been too eager to bend the knee to anyone, but this is something else. The man's very presence instills a primal fear in your heart. Let's go with the flow for now. I mean, this guy seems too willing to help us, and I think, like, that's the best thing we can do at this point. I understand, sir. That we have an understanding. Moving on, is there anyone you want to inform of your current situation? Tell them you're alright. He flashes his fangs briefly at some, and for some reason this sight sends a chill down your spine. There is something very wrong about him. On the other hand, there is something very wrong about us as well, so... Someone close to you? Did I have a girlfriend? She's my ex. I'm not going to lie. She's my ex. Like, we broke up, I think. So... This guy, my ex-girlfriend, she kinda hates my guts, but yeah, I suppose that would be her. The stranger gives you a puzzled look and decides to prod further. The closest person in your life hates your guts. This time, something resembles a look of pity. He turns his eye to the corpse on the floor. When it rains, it pours, I suppose. Well, if you'd like to ruin her day and let her know you're alright, give me her phone number. I'll have someone take care of it. Discreetly, of course. You hand him your smartphone so he can copy the number from your list of contacts. Thank you, this will be useful in illustrating my next point. Instead of giving you back your phone, the man hides it in his pocket. From this point on, you're subject to a different law than the ones you grew up with under, and you'll be watched by many eyes to ensure these laws are respected. You are forbidden from letting anyone know you're still alive. You are forbidden from showing your face anywhere they know you. If anyone comes looking for you, it's over for both you and them. He interrupts his monotone citation and stares deep into your eyes. So, unless you want your girlfriend to end up at the bottom of the Hudson, I suggest you cooperate. He proudly displays his fangs again. You've put Jess in danger. God darn it. I can only hope that you care for her enough not to do anything selfish. His words are meant to imply otherwise, but now it's obvious. He hates your guts as much as you hate his. He's itching for a fight, and you're almost willing to oblige. Alright, I think that's long enough lecturing for now today. We're off on a bit of a schedule here. Now, I don't need to hurt you, but I can do it so in a blink of an eye. Just so we're in the clear, I have the authority to enter right here, right now. This is not an idle threat. So, are you going to play along, or do we have to do it the hard way? Let's follow the stranger out. I mean... yeah. We don't want to fight with him for now. You weigh your chances, but it doesn't look promising. The guy's fit, determined, and looks like he's business. You, on the other hand, are confused, exhausted, and on the verge of a panic attack. Fine, I'll go with you for now. He almost looks disappointed. A wise decision. Follow me, please, and close the door behind you. You take one final look at the woman who is just coming to at the body of the ground. This is fucked. Absolutely fucked. You pull the handle and close the door. The man leads you downstairs. You contemplate signaling the bald guy at the front desk, but he's too busy watching some 90s action flick on a small ancient-looking TV. He seems totally oblivious to your presence. You hear a dejected Jean-Claude Van Damme say, "I just want to go home," as you're walking by. Your would-be kidnapper stops at the door and addresses you briefly before opening it. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, as soon as he opens the door, I'm making a run for it. Maybe I can outrun him. I'll save you the trouble. You can't. You can either get inside my car and I'll get you somewhere where you need to be, or you can try something stupid that you regret later. Do I make myself clear? Clear as day.